Hey everyone, it's Harry here from Screen Arts from Sydney College of the Arts. In this little tutorial, we're going to be looking at creating our soundscape through looking at just different audio effects within Premiere Pro. So this is our workspace here, and I'm on the editing tab within Premiere Pro. And I've got a couple of sound bites here, so I'm just going to drag and drop them into my timeline. So let's have a listen to this. So I've got a soundbite of some rain that has been recorded from the interior of a car. So rain coming down onto a car. So over here, if we click effects, this is where all of our effects live. And we've got our audio effects down in this tab here. Now there are an amplitude of different effects. We've got compression effects, sort of to make your sound bites louder and compress that file, delay and echo, filter and EQ. We've got modulation effects, noise and reduction effects, reverb, and time and pitch, and a few different things. So I'm just going to, first of all, something to do is to hit Control, and right click. And we can just change the speed and duration of this clip. So we can sort of make it really fast or really slow, and we can reverse it. So I'm gonna maybe make this really slow, and I'm gonna try and reverse it too and see what happens there. So obviously our clip is sort of taken up. It's gone from about 2 minutes to 6 minutes, and I'm just gonna play that for you. Great, so that's sort of like an ominous tone that's sort of happened there, sort of reversing it. If we pull down this bar here, we can see our audio waves a little bit clearer, which might help you. That's just one sort of simple audio effect that I've put on there, and that's just by clicking right and changing the speed and duration there. So we haven't even used any of our sort of a special effects here, and maybe an EQ or a low pass or a high pass would be cool. So I'm just going to chuck a high pass on here and play around with this. So when we're looking at our effects, we drag and drop it onto our timeline, and then this is where we change our effects here. So this is cutting off all the high frequencies. Maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want a low pass. Now, we need to make sure that our level is not going over 12 decibels. So that's peaking there. It's a bit high. So I'm just going to bring that down. Yeah, that's a bit better. So when you're editing and manipulating your sounds, you've got to think about your intention. What sort of image are you sort of conveying? What are you trying to say with your sound? Are you sort of looking for an ominous sort of soundscape, or are you looking for something a little bit more happy, or what kind of emotion are you sort of trying to project? And maybe you don't exactly know, maybe you just want to play around, and that's totally fine too. A studio reverb could be quite cool as well. So I'm going to pop that on there. And you can obviously stack effects. So we've got a low pass on here at the moment and a studio reverb. And within this studio reverb, you have to click on the edit. And this is where all of our reverb functions come. So maybe you want to have a play around with this. Change the decay. And this is our output level here, our dry and our wet. So that's sounding quite boomy. As well as, you know, using audio effects, pulling out your clip and extending it, reversing it, we can also layer clips within our timeline. So looking at our audio layers here, I just want to maybe drag and drop, you know, another audio layer that I have. Let's have a listen to. I'm just going to mute this so we can listen to this second audio clip. Yeah, so we've got a car sort of starting its engine. So, you know, there are quite a few things that we can do. I'm going to do sort of a similar thing where I'm going to slow this right down. Whoops. Put it on like 30. Yeah, cool. So slowing it down sort of changes that effect quite a lot. I'm going to now put a high pass on this one. So this sort of is a sort of an EQ filter. I'm going to play that. So I was just fiddling around with that high pass, and what we can do now is we can look at our effects and we can animate them with our key frames over in here. So this is our big timeline here, and this this section here, we don't need that over there, but this section here is sort of like a micro playback. See, our playback head is here and it sort of corresponds to the same up there. And we can animate this. We can use this to animate our effects. So if I click this little stopwatch over here and then move my playback head and click this little button here, and then I move down the cutoff, we can see that this is sort of affecting and animating our sound. So let's just play that back. So all of the high frequencies are being taken off and going into the low frequency through our cutoff. It's changing the sound. And you know, you can go crazy with this. You can change all of the keyframes in here, and you can do it in this section here. You don't have to do it manually over here. So when you're applying effects, you know, we need to think about dynamics within your effects and having motion within the sounds that you're creating. I'm going to unmute this guy. Great, so that was just a quick intro to applying some audio effects and using keyframes to animate those audio effects within your layers of your sound piece. So please go and play around with these effects. If you don't know what some of these effects do, come and ask me. And yeah, have fun.